with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, will never turn against our own people, and external actions are confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. This peace, sustained by our own domestic resources, is a testament to the maturity and strength of our nation. We protected the inalienable rights of every Liberian citizen as enshrined in our Constitution. Freedom of speech, assembly, and expression were not only preserved, but celebrated. There were no political prisoners or prisoners.
Before that, I will tell you that issue. I will tell you US. I will bring one man for you. Because you see one man for you, Johnson. I will tell you what I'm bringing when you pass on the
When you elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices? Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries, but there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D3.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop slipping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta whip us some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, so the people lie to us. The government betray us. They get lies, they get steep, they lie. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with their speech they preach in DNA unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why does you lie? Why does you steal? Why does you allow the citizens to be? See, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us so. My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop slipping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us.
Oh yes, and we can say the messages continue for the betterment of our country. The major actors will continue to get checked for the good reasons in some cases, for the wrong reasons in some cases. Whatever the case is, we all must muster the courage, the strength, the bravery, the focus, the determination to continue to insist that our governors govern well, that our leaders will lead us well. Let me say a very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in the diaspora. Our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight. Today is Tuesday in Morovia, and it is the 8th day of April 2025. This is Freedom Hard Talk. This is Freedom FM. In case you are just coming into the country, let me welcome you to Morovia, the Republic of Liberia. This song introduces and closes the show. Takunje owns all copyright to this song. We do not own it. We use this song to motivate all of you, our followers, all of you, our critics, all of you who even get angry because we're saying some things the way we are saying them. And for some other reasons, you do not like the way we say some of the things. Hey, this is our country. We all have to disagree. But when the appropriate time reaches, we have to agree. We will not agree all of the time on all of the issues. But when the need arises, there are some things that, there are some situations that compel us to come together and engage and interact. Whenever that situation arises, we all must wear the moral high ground and say, let's talk, let's engage. We do not have to agree all the times or most of the time, but at times we must agree. We must be willing to listen. And so tonight's show promises to be extremely interesting. You know, this morning I woke up and I saw a lot of messages in my WhatsApp. Why? And there were folks who were asking me, "Oh, Austin, did you see this release from the Liberia Council of Churches? Is this release authentic?" And then I started to, reach out to some of my fact checkers friends and some of my lawmakers friends and some of my friends from the Council of Churches. You know, I used to be an executive member of the Liberia Council of Churches Youth Decks. And so we started to reach out. And then we realized that the statement was fake. But there were still people not believing that the statement was fake. And so some of the folks who support the purported, unquote, purported speaker of the House or of the majority bloc, they started to share the polls, considering it a legitimate one, including the purported speaker, Richard Kun, unquote, the Supreme Court. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation. And so when we did all of our fast check, nothing. And then correspondingly, the Liberia Council of Churches released a statement, official statement, clarifying that the statement that Richard Kun invested this morning running around with, that's not our statement. Oh. We don't know anything about it. Oh. We didn't issue any statement. Oh. The battle for legitimacy, the struggle for legitimacy. That is speaker now. The process was legitimate now. The process was legally done now. For now, years we move now. Why you want me to say? You're sorry. To come with us seriously. But that's it. So we have all of the different statements. We are going to read them. The one from the fake statement. We will read it. We will also read the response from the purported speaker or the speaker of the majority bloc. And then we will read the original statement from the Liberia Council of Churches. And that's the only thing we are going to be talking about until our guest tonight. Like we announced to you last night, we intend to have all of the sector heads and policymakers here moving forward to afford them the opportunity to share their vision, their platform, their achievements, their challenges. Where did they take their different institutions from? What were the challenges that were inherited by them? How do they intend to address those challenges moving forward? It's been 1 year, 3 months, going to 4 months. 1 year, 4 months, sorry, going to the 5th month. And so we want to know how these sector heads and policymakers are intending to address the challenges that they inherited from the city's government, the government that we supported. And so we begin the process tonight with the managing director of the Liberia Water and Seawall Corporation, the LWSC, Mohammed Ali. So Mo Ali, as managing director, will sit behind our microphones tonight, and we will share. We will have supper. We will have supper. So we want to look at water and sewer management in our country. We want to ask all of the hard questions and all of the soft questions. So on our Facebook page, probably you may not have the chance to call in and participate, all of you. In case you want to communicate your questions or your concerns, tonight, just go on our Facebook page, AUSTIN Kawah. You see my dollar in pink, red blast, sorry. And that's my official Facebook page. In case you can something you like or you share or you follow the page, and then you will have the opportunity to post your concern under the post we did for the MD's appearance. And then we will go there to ask some questions to the MD from our Facebook page. So that's the size and shape of the show tonight. Not too many things to talk about tonight. Or we say too many things to talk about, but for tonight, we are not talking too many things. We are focusing on 2 issues. Water management, water and sewer management in our country. When the managing director of the LWSC shall have joined us. But before he joins us, we will focus a bit on the conflict, the different statements and reactions of recent that have been coming from the Liberia Council of Churches. And we have already established contact with the council's president. We are hoping that he will be available to speak with us tomorrow so we can talk some of the issues, that the council is confronted with, whether it's government-related issues, whether it's economic-related issues, whether it is religious issues. The United Methodist Church has also is also battling some issues. I'm told there is a mediation team being considered or that is under consideration by the Council of Churches to intervene. How true is that information? So we hope that Dr. Reeves will accept our invitation tomorrow, and then we'll have him here tomorrow night to talk the Council of Churches. But until then, tonight is water management. Myself got carried by Arsenal and Real Madrid game. And so most of my men, they say, I'm begging you. Let me just watch the first half. Then I will join the show after the first half. And so anytime, any moment from now, Mo will join us. We're taking a break. From our sponsor, Crime Stopper Liberia of Omen Sam Sayo. When we come back from our break, all of you who've joined us, the please do you is share the live, invite others to follow, the show tonight. We come back from our break. We recognize all of you who've joined the political fellowship tonight on the show.
The people who are so, the people are to us.
It's about music. There are crimes in many places, in every community, you can see. So if you see crime and report it, don't take law in your hand for the right authority. Tell it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a human talking, I mean you check. Do it for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, Old Man Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Okay, thank you so much, OMSM Sion, Crime Stopper Liberia, for that message. Yes. So we will just recognize a few of you tonight because Tom is not our friend. Is Asata Miller. Thanks for joining us from Soul Clinic Community tonight. Sebastian Williams, thanks for joining us from Bannersville. Agatha Glasgow, thanks for joining us from the RI Road area way there. And then Juku Richardson has also joined us from somewhere around the world. All of you, thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. And so let's move into our different issues. So we said to you that there are not conflicting, but different statements coming have been surfacing of recent from the Council of Churches or under the purporting to be a statement issued by the Council of Churches, and they've been releasing a couple of clarifications and all of that. So today's a statement raised a long piece, not too long. John's statement by the Liberia Council, that's the caption, Liberia Council of Churches, and they say John's statement by the Liberia Council of Churches. And for your information, this is the fake statement I'm reading. John's statement by the Liberia Council of Churches, National Muslim Council of Liberia, and the Interreligious Council of Liberia. The Liberia Council of Churches, the National Muslim Council of Liberia, the Interreligious Council of Liberia, and the faith-based and other faith-based organizations have been facilitating a dialogue process by the consent of all concerned parties to find an amicable resolution to the leadership dispute in the House of Representatives regarding the speakership. Findings from the dialogue process. Findings from the dialogue process. Our findings reflect several challenges, including House rules and orders, prioritization of self-interest over national development, and in some cases, a disregard for constitutional provisions and established rules by the House. The Council, the Council's view with deep concern and disdain the manner in which the first branch of government, which represents the Liberian people, has been subjected to public ridicule. Legitimacy of Speaker Richie Nkom, regardless of the reasons that led to the removal of Honorable J. Funati Kofa as Speaker by the majority bloc and the subsequent election and recognition of Honorable Richie Nkom as Speaker by the executive branch, these developments form part of our national history and serve as lessons for future corrections. The executive branch's decision to conduct official business with elected Speaker Richie Nkom, the passage of the national budget and other significant bills under his leadership, and the recognition. Okay. So our guest is already at backstage. So very shortly we'll add him to the screen, and then we move into our discussion. You can help me to go through from this side. So let's just speed up. And then the recognition extended by him by the president at both national and international levels have collectively legitimized his authority as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Our continued engagement, education on the Ross's rule. Okay. Rules and legal advancement have followed, clarified that Honorable Richie Nkom is recognized by the state as the Speaker of the House. Call for unity and cooperation, recommendations, blah, 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 blah. That is not our friend. Okay. Could you, I think you have to call Could you back here to come and look at this thing. I don't know whether Mo is seeing me or hearing, but I'm not seeing him. So now, after this statement was released, the head of the majority bloc, Representative Richard Kuhn, could you have to come back to please look at this thing? It's not, I think it's not going through. Please have a look at this and see what we can add our guests back to the show. The office now. This is what Honorable Kuhn. Okay. 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 So let's go. Hold on. We're trying to make some adjustment for our guest. All of you who joined the show tonight, those of you following that because the managing director is coming, and so so let's go to now. So the head of the majority bloc, this is his official response. But since Mo is trying to adjust, let me just read for you the recommendations in this release. So it's in the interest of peace, national pride, and the sustainability of our democracy, the council calls on the majority bloc to accept the leadership of Honorable Richie Nkom and collaborate with him to foster inclusivity within the leadership structure of the House and its various committees. We extend our gratitude to Honorable J. Funati Kofa for his service during his term as Speaker. We also commend the efforts of Honorable Musa Benete, leader of the Rule of Law Caucus, for his advocacy. However, we kindly urge all stakeholders to summon the courage for peace, reconciliation, and cooperation. Let us work together to address and amend the constitution and the constitutional and procedural gaps that have led to the current challenges to avoid recurrence. Recommendations will call for the lifting of suspensions and the legitimate payment of salaries and claims of all lawmakers in accordance with the rules and orders of the House of Representatives. However, we recommend that the suspension of Honorable Yekewa Kodoba remain in effect for a period of 1 year or more as currently stands. So that's from the that's a fake statement from the council, the fake council of churches. And then Speaker Kun of the majority bloc responded to this fake statement. This is what he wrote on his Facebook page. He said the office of Speaker Richard Nangmekun expresses its appreciation to the Interreligious Council, the Liberia Council of Churches, the National Muslim Council, and all other groups that have helped with efforts aimed at uniting the House. We are therefore using this opportunity to call on all of our colleagues to have some differences to come and join us as we carry out our solemn as we carry on our solemn wait, please hold on, let me try to see. Yes. We're trying to make some adjustments. We are multitasking. Okay, so it says some constitutional responsibilities as the first branch of government. As the first among equals, I'm taking this lead to encourage my colleagues, many of whom are very good friends of mine, to come and let's work for the Liberian people. We owe it as a responsibility to them to craft laws and exercise appropriate oversight over governmental and non-governmental functionaries for their good and their representatives. We have had enough of ourselves. It's now time to work for our people. So Richard Kun said this statement a serious statement, so he responded to it. Then the Council of Churches came and issued a statement. Let's read what the Council of Churches issued originally today. Liberia Council of Churches honored the caption Liberia Council of Churches Reconciliation Dialogue Report Briefing in a significant effort to address the ongoing. No, man, not the statement you are talking about, man. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is the statement I'm talking about. This is the statement. This is the only one is long that the statement I'm talking about. So let me go through some until more can get set up. So the Council of Churches issued this elaborate statement. A long bill, very long, the many verse. To say, in a significant effort to address the ongoing political challenges and foster harmony within the House of Representatives of Liberia, the Liberia Council of Churches and the Interreligious Council of Liberia, alongside prominent church leaders, engaged in a two-day reconciliation dialogue organized by the House of Representatives. This pivotal meeting marked a crucial step toward resolving internal disputes and advancing the legislative agenda for peace, unity, and progress. Unity and progressive governance in a country still navigating the complexity of its post-conflict reality. Liberia has faced a myriad of challenges in recent years, particularly within the legislative framework. The House of Representatives, which is the legislative arm of the government, has found itself mired in controversy and division. The current representative crisis is characterized by allegations of misconduct, suspensions of certain lawmakers, and contentious debates over leadership roles. These disputes not only hinder legislative progress, but also spark public concern regarding effectiveness of governance and the overarching stability of the country. Given Liberia's tumultuous history, marked by a devastating marked by devastating civil war that lasted from 1989 to 2003, resulting in over 250,000 deaths and significant social upheaval. The necessity for a cohesive and functional legislature has never been more critical. In this context, the LCC and RRCL recognize the urgent need for a proactive approach to foster reconciliation amongst legislators and restore public trust in democratic processes. By organizing the dialogue, the House of Representatives acknowledge the importance of collaborative efforts to overcoming political strife. The inclusion of religious leaders symbolizes an understanding of the influential role that faith-based organizations can play in society, particularly in promoting peace and fostering dialogue. The LCC and RRCL, with their rich history of advocating for social justice and reconciliation, were positioned as critical mediators tasked with bridging the gaps between conflicting factions within the legislature. The dialogue sought to facilitate healing amongst lawmakers, encouraging them to move beyond personal grievances and embrace their collective responsibility to serve the public. Establishing an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding was crucial to fostering an environment where legislators can effectively represent their constituents. Emphasizing the concept of peaceful governance and dialogue reinforced the idea that effective leadership thrives in an environment where collaboration and consensus building take precedence over contentious disputes. Clarifying the roles and responsibilities of legislators within the framework of the Constitution was another vital objective of the dialogue. This, okay, so I think we have to end right here and move on to our discussion. Yes. So I think our guest is having some challenges from his Salve camera. So we'll do the show without you seeing him because yeah, so we'll do the show. So we'll just come on and we'll add him and run into our discussion. Since these gadgets can misbehave at times. So I think the problem is from the laptop. So yes, we'll do the show without the camera. He will join us and then we will do the show without the camera. So once he comes in, we'll end the reading of this piece and then we'll move into our discussion. But don't forget, this show is proudly sponsored by Crime Stopper Liberia, and we are in partnership with Radio Entertainment Liberia also. So as we're talking, yes, tonight is Tuesday, so we're paying out 4,000 Liberian dollars to our lucky winners who will play the cash giveaway by dialing *799 *11 hash *799 *11 hash and send, and then you follow the instruction to play. If you play, you win. We'll move on by doing the draw and giving you your $4,000. We send your money to you instantly. So it's a long piece. Don't worry, we may still read the piece tomorrow. A very long one. But so while we get more on, we'll be able to go through our discussion. So giving Liberia's the major system in my bad. I was way down. Way down. Okay. Okay. Right. Intervention. We can often complicate legislative matters further. The LCC and RRCL aim to reinforce the values of democracy among lawmakers, highlighting their need to uphold. Okay. So we can end right here, and then we can end right here and see you, and then go to our guest. Move into our discussion tonight. So let's see whether we can bring more in from this end. Hello, good evening, Mr. MD. Are you there?
Yeah, good evening, Austin. I'm here. How are you?
How are you doing? How was your day?
Well, I had a very hectic and long day, but I'm okay.
These days, when you say you had a long day, you want to talk about a long day? Were you doing water business or sewer business?
Yeah, I was doing both.
Doing both water business and sewer business. Now,
I was doing both water and sewer business, and then the night is terrible.
Well, the result from Real Madrid game?
Yeah, my man.
I know. Myself had to watch the game, but it seems that Arsenal wants to put us some challenge. But we are Real
That's the
Madrid. We get
challenge
over
they
it.
have. Yeah, no, but at the current score is difficult. But
The last time
anyway,
I checked, it was 1-0. I don't know whether Arsenal has scored that second goal.
Arsenal has scored two more.
They're going, yeah, they're going down also. Yeah, I'm going to spot my net in there. But anyway, nah, I mean, we have the next 1 hour, 15 minutes. We reserve the 15 minutes to interact with the public. So we have 1 hour to talk water management and sewer management in our country, which are key sector or components of the sanitary condition of our country and all of that. Before we start, I need to share the people here water, they may easily understand water, but they may not know the restriction when it comes to water management of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. Some years sewer, they don't know what exactly do you do with sewer management or control or maintenance and all of that. So you want us to talk about that role, that responsibility first before we move into the major reasons why we call you here.
Thank you, Austin. So, firstly, the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation was established in 1973 by an act of the legislature, and that entity has since been responsible for the supply of water to Monrovia county capitals and every other community that has a population of 5,000 people and above. In the same vein, it is responsible for the sewage services of the same definition. And the act was reenacted, or what they will say amended, in 2017. Yeah, 2017. And so the system that we currently use for water supply and the sewage system were all built back in 1953 under the administration of President Tubman. The Morovia sewage system spans from Douala on the Bushro Island all the way through to Central Morovia Sinker and on the to the Old Road. Um, Prior to the war, we had a sewage treatment plant that treats the sewage. But then I think during the war, it got damaged. There was no care. And since after the war, we've now had the financial capacity to build a new sewage treatment plant. The water treatment plant was constructed in the same year and it conveys water from White Plains through two main transmission lines. One is from White Plains through Cardwell to Bushro Island towards St. Paul Bridge and then towards Central Morovia. The pipe that supply water through there is 16-inch. It's a 16-inch pipe. And then we have another pipe that goes through Louisiana, Johnsonville, through Painesville to Morovia. That is a 36-inch pipe. And so, yes, that is basically the functions of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation.
Very, very well. Now, particularly when you talk about sewage, maybe sewage management or whatever we may term it, uh, what is the limitation of the LWSC in terms of sewage management? What do you do? What don't you do? What length can you go to
So, by
ensure
right,
that
we we are supposed to provide the sewage services to all these places that I named. For example, Morovia, Painesville, and then provide also sanitation facility toilets for other communities. That is supposed to be the scope of operation, but that is not happening because since the establishment of this country, what has happened is that people had only care for Morovia. Even the sewage system they built was just for around 200 to 250,000 persons in Monrovia. They didn't extend the sewage system beyond Old Road to include Congo Town and other places. The water system was also for around the same group of people, So it is just that. So now that it is extremely expensive to construct a sewer system, most people everywhere will use this what we call the septic tank,
Okay.
and that's it.
Does your authority does your authority go toward maybe monitoring or ensuring that the septic tanks are built in line with a particular standard set by the Ministry of Public Works or the Water and Sewer? Who does that?
Well, you see, that's one of the things. We do not have a regulatory agency here, so it is basically we don't regulate, but the Ministry of Public Work and probably the Environmental Protection Agency, the National Public Health Institute. These are people who are supposed to ensure that there are proper disposal of these things. Ministry of Public Works supposed to tell you the kind of construction you do in places so that they do not affect our underground water system. So yeah, but we do not have that. What we can be responsible for is to provide a treatment facility for the sewage that will be collected from these septic tanks.
Okay, now let's move into the other important issues because I'd like to start with Central Morovia since these are the traditional places established by by law that establish your authority. Year in, year out, this is an old age problem about sewage or waste management in the country, especially Central Morovia. You pass, especially during rainy season, the place gets so disturbing, dirty, staying the septic tank. You see, the manholes are opening and the feces are all spewing out in around whether it's Carey Street, Randall Street, especially there's an intersection around Benson and Gertie Street intersection. And then I saw you doing some work these few days around the Nipo Street, but these are major places. And then Magnet Street, all those places, down water side, the sewage lines, the manholes, they open, the feces spilling out, and it appears like government in, government out, MD in, MD out. Nobody is doing anything, or the system appears that nobody is doing anything to fix the problem. And I'm interested in knowing how do you intend to arrest this situation and rescue it?
So Austin, thank you. You don't blame MD in, MD out for not solving that problem. There are
Why?
several factors there because there are several factors responsible, and to solve it takes a political will. I'll give you one of the major factors. When Morovia was constructed, it was well laid out. When they laid the sewage system out, there were places, but then you had what we call the Public Utility Authority. So that Public Utility Authority consisted of Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, the LEC, and the telecom, that how they used to call it. So they were all grouped under one umbrella. So everywhere you see a water line or sewer line, a major sewer line, it was not only for water line or sewer line, it was a whole alleyway that you will see LEC, you will see the telephone line, you see the water line and the sewer line. After the civil crisis, Morovia became populated and businesses sprung out everywhere. Then people began to build on those sewer lines. They basically built on the utility line. I will show you several areas that we've just demolished structure from.
Okay.
So you see the stretch of Merkin Street that is between Broad Street and Ashmont Street, where you see people selling and people always leaking from there. Where you have that manhole, that toilet always leaking from, going up towards Cathedral and going passing through there, where they used to have King's FM. I mean, at the behind there is a store there, going straight towards what the place named Randall Street. Is a public utility alleyway. Now, within that space, there are several manholes, receiving manhole, that collect the sewage from the structures around there and put it down there into that manhole that should carry it towards what's the place named BTC. When the people constructed on this manhole, the sewer line begin to clog. The sewer line will always clog. But to clean the sewer line over there, you need to have access to the other one.
So clogging is normal in sewer waste management. It's normal.
It is normal. That's why you always have cleaning equipment.
Okay.
Now, to clean one sewer line, you need access to the other one because you need to put a tube in to pump water to clear the line. You can't get access to the other one. You can't get access to the other one on the other side because people have constructed there. And so, what previous managing directors would do, they would just send a truck to take out the sewage that's spilling. Nobody had the mindset to take the hard political decision to say we'll demolish these structures on the alleyway. Because normally every government is thinking about the next election.
Okay.
And so when we took over, we say, well, let the next election wait. Let's focus on clearing the city. So we demolish, you know where OKFM is.
Correct.
That place going straight right near the Ahmadiyya school. I think it's a school or mosque.
I
That
think it's in
stretch
box.
going straight passing right near where they call Talk of the Town, going towards near World Trade Center on Galley Street, is a public utility alleyway that has a whole stretch of sewer line. We had to clear that. And then where that leakage is between Galley, right at the intersection of Galley and Benson Street there's also there used to be a fuller shop with demolish it. From that fuller shop from Benson Street towards Carey Street, there's also a line there. So we demolish these structures to give us the chance to clean these lines. So we now by next week we will begin to install the broken pipes because as people construct, they break the covers, they break the pipe, and so even if the sewage flow there, it just spill outside. So we'll begin to reinstall this cover, reinstall the broken pipe, and then we are supposed to get some equipment. We'll use those equipment to begin to clean the line once they are restored. We believe that in the next 6 months, we should be able to significantly tackle this problem. But that's
So
one of the problems. The
is that cleaning
second
going?
problem
Okay, go ahead. Mo, are you there?
that cover and they sell them to scrap dealers for
Okay, sorry, you were talking about the second challenge or problem.
yeah. So I said the second problem are people who steal the manhole cover. You know, when they steal them, they leave the manhole vulnerable and open. Then
You
what
mean the
people do?
steel plate or the concrete plate that is placed over
No,
the
they
hole, right?
steal plate that cover all the manhole.
Okay.
They steal them and sell them to scrap dealers without management upon management or LWSC. We have meetings with scrap dealers and say, please don't buy these things, but they will continue. During the era, Ellen Johnson said it. There was one thing she did. She said, you know what? Anybody who buy these things, the scrap dealer, once they get missing, the scrap dealer will be responsible. They will pay for it. So then when these will become open, People use it for dump. They dump dead there. The second way it accumulates there, when it rain, all those plastic and all over the rainwater through them there, then the sewer manhole get clogged. So those are the two major reasons, and we are trying to cover them. But Austin, trust me, the few we've covered recently again, they stole the taps. We use almost $300 to manufacture one tap. If you don't believe it, just go right to Setibero. They are manufacturing them for us.
But you're
So
supposed to be
it is
putting
a
in
pattern.
mechanisms, security mechanisms to secure these covers or these steel plates when you produce them.
Well, we have tried. We weld them to the manhole to make sure I am to do, but still the people will break them. I don't know. The only solution to that is maybe to do what President Selly did then, hold the scrap dealers responsible that whenever it gets missing, uh, 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 they are responsible. Maybe like that, we not have them, because when they carry them to the scrap dealer, obviously, then the scrap dealer will have to bring them back. But once we don't have any strong law in place, it's going to be difficult.
Now, so with all of the first and second challenges you referenced, because I'm sure these are the these are the concentrated points or different points in Central Moravia. Between 5 to 6 months on the record, this can this be an assurance that Liberians are not going to experience any spillage of feces across Moravia, across Central Moravia, if after
So,
the works are done?
Austin, I can say 100%, but within 5 to 6 months, significantly, we will reduce it. We will reduce it, because another thing you should realize is that there are major lift stations. Now, lift stations are like pumping stations, big septic tank underground, very, very big, that hold the sewage from across. So, for example, in Douala, they built market on it. There was a lift station there that is responsible to collect the sewage and pump them through the lines to Sion Town. There's another lift station in Sion Town. Somebody had built a store on. That lift station is supposed to pump across Waterside, Slipway. There are two lift stations. Those lift stations pump the sewage up the hill, then it flows by gravity towards BTC. BTC has the biggest lift station. Now BTC collects it and pumps it behind. That now the sewer line runs on the beach beyond Plaza all the way through 9th Street and crosses towards 18th Street, goes to Fiamma. The one that is on the beach, the water has washed away a certain portion, and so it takes a lot of money to restore that as well.
What do you mean a lot
So
of money? Have you done an assessment to be clear or to
so
be clear?
before I came in, I've seen a report that for many years back, I think like 6 or 7 years back, assessment was done, and the conclusion was that it will require anywhere between 1.5 to $2 million to restore.
That should be peanut for any government to be able to allow $1.5 million to solve this problem.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But here is the thing: many governments don't think that water and sewer is a serious thing that we should put money to, and so you have to struggle. In fact, they will almost all governments will put more money towards the water system than they will even put towards the sewage system, and that is a problem. And
This brings in the concern about what our priorities are supposed to be. Is it that we're focusing more on the sectors that drive or attract the political actors and leaving the sanitary aspect about about the country? What case are you making to to the legislators who have the appropriation authority to do so? Probably your case may not have been strong enough to convince the lawmakers to give you more money for to address sewage issue.
I didn't get you clear.
I'm saying probably I was asking what case have you been able to make to the legislature that has the appropriation power, or probably your but maybe we could say your case are not been too strong, are not been strong enough to convince the lawmakers to say, hey, let's give this 1.2 or let's give the 1.2 into three segments and ensure that we just solve this whole sewage issue in Central Morovia.
Austin, like you said, the people they will easily get attracted to the water, then they will get attracted to the sewage thing. And the problem is, you can supply all the water. If you don't solve the sewage problem, then we have a serious health crisis.
But even the water is having enormous challenges which we will come to. But I'd like to take you back to this sewage treatment plant thing that you said got the straw, which seems to me essential if we must have an effective sewage management system. But I didn't hear you speaking significantly about repair or renovation or reconstruction of these sewage
No, it
treatment.
doesn't need the sewage system. The sewage treatment plant we have does not need repair. We need a brand new sewage treatment plant.
Does that
And
include the 1.2 or 1.3 million you're talking about?
no. That 1.3 million is a laying of a 36-inch pipe that convey the sewer along the beach from BTC all the way to Fiamma. That's not it. The sewage treatment plant at least will require $50 million for construction of a new sewage treatment plant. And let me tell you what that does. We are trying. We've been talking to several investors to see how they can invest into it. Because when you invest into it, it produces like three or four things for you, several ways to make money. And if anyone invests into the sewage treatment plant and the sewage system, you make more money than you make with the water. So number one, that sewage treatment plant that is at Fiamma, if you were to construct a new one, you'll be able to produce fertilizer from it, from the sewage you collect. You also be able to produce methane gas, the one we use for cooking gas. And then also you will treat the sewer where that hard part you can use it for fertilizer and manure. So in addition to the money you will collect for a sewer bill from the people. So it's something that we are trying to attract investors to look into. Just today, we are meeting with some of them who have expressed interest. But
You want to reference some of the investors you're talking to for the sake of our audience?
so, like, there is this group from the Indian SM Bank that we've been in conversation with. Uh, they have said they have interest in it, and we just started discussion. They are here on an assessment tour. We want to see how the assessment will go, and then we will report to the public on, what is it.
Don't you think?
But
Because I just received, somebody is asking, which I was also concerned about finding alternative means or sources that could address some of these challenges. 50 million may sound too huge, but not for a country, not for an entire government. Is it possible that you can begin negotiation to privatize or outsource this? That will see you maybe get share or sharing cost if you privatize it or outsource it, since you do not have the money as a government to
so, as
reconstruct.
a matter of fact, Austin, as a matter of fact, the discussion we are having with these people is, let's have a built and build, operate, and transfer. So if you are able to build it, you can build it, you operate it, you recoup your money, and then you transfer it back to government. It depends. You can do the projection and say, okay, if I were to pump 50 million or 60 million into the entire sewage network, you project how many customers you'll be able to connect and how much you will generate. You can do that and say, okay, in the next 10 years, I'll be able to get my money, or in the next 15 years or 20 years. Our only interest is to have a properly functioning sewer system that will eliminate the spillage of sewage in the street, and that will also eliminate the need for private septic tanks to houses, so that when you are constructing in Morovia or Cinco, you don't need to worry about building septic tank where there is even no space.
Now, let's move into water. People pass around. It became a cliche a couple of months ago. A year later now, people referencing water, using Mo Ali to reference water. I don't know why that is happening. But let's talk. I need to give us an overview, a realistic picture of what did you meet at the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, especially the water system.
So, Austin, if you are listening to any of my interview or anyone, let me say this. We inherited some challenges and we inherited some positives. There are still many more challenges. The past management teams, previous management teams, did what they could given the circumstances. Now, when we inherited, there was this issue of regular water supply to the city, and there were several factors as we see it are responsible for that. But two major factors was the issue of chemical supply and the issue of electricity supply, which the electricity supply still remains a challenge. So what we did with the electricity supply was to talk to LEC to give us, particularly during the dry season, a definite schedule to say, okay, in the daytime, we'll be able to give you 12 hours of electricity, but we'll share it 6 hours, 6 hours. Now, within our 6 hours, we'll be able to position our workforce and schedule them so that they produce for those 6 hours. During the rainy season, you get more electricity. The next thing was chemical. Um, because of support to LWSC, which is not the fault of any of the management team, it was difficult to get chemicals. And then we became not so creditworthy because we owe so many vendors. So when you go to a vendor and say credit or chemicals, they don't do it because they are not sure of getting their money. So what we did, we got this particular vendor and say, look, give us chemicals, we promise we'll pay all the time, and we do with the payment plan. So the vendor, we went through the entire procurement process, and that vendor is supplying our chemicals. As we collect water bills, we pay. One of the major problems that every management team has had is the willingness of people to pay. Everybody wants to use the services, but not many people want to pay for the services, and so it becomes a very serious problem. The other thing was water supply to Central Morovia. Um, you can have consistent water supply to Central Morovia because you are not pumping from the White Plains consistently. So there is this reservoir of Ducor that has a capacity of 1 million gallons. So that reservoir had leak, and we repaired the leaks, and there was some other blockade in the discharging pipeline. We discovered that and eliminated it. And so 2 3 times in a week we are able to supply water to allow people to fill in their containers and their reservoirs. So that is working well. Those are some of the challenges. We
But
also
Mr. MD, I'll have to take you back. Sorry, I have to take you back to this water and chemical thing because this has been an HO complaints that management in management art will continue to make reference to chemical if it's not about some corruption thing with procurement process. It's about low chemical or lack of chemical or no chemical at all. Now, I've been thinking, and I have to ask you this: is it possible you're the government, you give duty free to people to bring in their own chemicals, their own different gases and different things, their cement, and you give them duty free to carry on to run their industries. And the water and seawater is a government entity cannot import her own chemical. What is responsible for that? You have to be giving, awarding procurement contract to private vendors, then you having financial constraints and challenges. When you get import your own chemicals on duty free, that will be less of cost to you.
That's true. So um that's one of the things that I thought about, and it's a very, very good thing. We are thinking of doing that, but to do that means that you have to have your own cash on hand in order to do that. So because water and sewer cannot have that cash on hand, so they keep buying from vendors. But like you said, it's something that we are thinking about, and we want to try that next year. We're hoping that it will work to see, okay, can we bring in our own chemical? Because Austin, when you do a research, the places they get the chemicals from, most of the time we get our chemicals, the vendors that bring them in from Turkey, Spain, Germany. Our investigation shows that it's actually cheaper there, you know. But then when it comes in, the shipping, a whole lot of things, they make it expensive. And rightly so, you talk about the corruption thing. I wouldn't want to go into that too much.
No, I'll have
I
to
don't
take you
know.
there, but that's later on. We want to talk the real issues first. We'll go to the other
I want to
seeming
know.
political issues.
Yeah, I want to know myself. I'm still investigating how the prices were before, because there are prices that we see, and when we negotiated with the current vendor that is supplying, those prices are not the same. For example, the alum bear, what we have on the record, what NCO used to buy for $85. Now we are buying it for $55. The lime, the hydrated lime, they used to buy for $19 or so. We are now buying it for between $14 to $15. The the chlorine, the high test hypochlorite, they used to buy the 45 kg bucket for anywhere between 300, 290 to 300. We are now paying $210 for them. I don't know what kind of arrangement they were doing. I have
And
no
you
idea.
and were the suppliers coming through private vendors?
Yeah, they supply, yeah, private vendors. I mean, they will do the normal procurement processes, and then they will award the contract. I don't know how they were doing it. That's why I say. But what I see on the papers, but then we were able to negotiate with the new vendor and say, look, we can't pay this for chemicals because we think it's too expensive. And the vendors did it, and we took the list of them.
Now, I want to ask you some of there are other critical concerns and questions that we have to talk. We cannot dodge these concerns because the critical aspect about your team, your management team. The first concern is the issue about water theft or non-compliance from your customers.
Mm.
You know, it gets boring when Liberians wake up every morning, Jonathan leaves, Ubuntu leaves, who else again, Alfonso Gay leaves, Mo Ali comes in, especially when Mo Ali comes in with this arrest and rescue agenda thing that has become so politicized, even from the very Unity Party people. And then the same complaints coming from all the different MDs and the different management teams at Water and Sewer. Water theft, non-compliance. It says to some of your critics that it's a management in, management out. Once you're in opposition, you don't see the reality. You will criticize and criticize. When you come in, you see the realities and you start complaining and start referencing the same complaints that the other management teams were referencing. Non-compliance or water payment or water theft. Now, you seem to be more or less complaining, and I see you reducing tariff and all, giving discount out to people, to delinquent customers, just to raise some money and cover up for people, and you still continue to supply those people waters. I don't see or hear about any drastic action that is being taken or that has been taken by your management. 1 year plus running, no news about any drastic action. You announcing giveaways.
So they gave away. We are doing the waiver. These are debts that have been accumulated from way back up to December 2023. Because Austin, the population thinks that water should be free for everybody. Many people don't know what you go through to supply clean water, the purification processes, the amount that they spend, the overhead costs, and everything. And so everybody thinks that water should be free. So when people use it, they think that they shouldn't pay for it. So that is a difficult issue. I think it was the Dwana Camara management or the one before or so. They tried the same thing about the waiver, and the lesson learned from that is that they they really did some collection, and so we're trying that method is yielding some fruits. It's going to go for 3 months, and then after that we will reinstitute our disconnection. Austin, we've disconnected so many people, but like you said, the water theft thing is real, and you cannot discover it everywhere. Even like people to just they will just get some kind of plumber dig in the night and connect their homes, and that's it. It's difficult to notice. So we can just continue, we will just continue to talk to them. But the next step we are taking in the next few weeks, we will begin to test prepay meters. We are testing prepay meters in Sanikole through the private contractor there, and
Okay.
it's working so very well. And we are using that model to test a year, just like the LEC. If you put $5 in your meters, and that $5 finish, your water cut off, so that we will have no argument with anybody to say can't pay your water bill. You
And I
want
was
water,
just
you
about
pay.
to go to this prepaid meter thing because I remember this was part of the many MOUs that came from, I think, the South Korea meeting or visit by His Excellency the President. I don't know whether you were on that trip. Part of the many, I think, 6 or 7 MOU
Yeah,
signed.
so
That
Austin, let me
prepaid meter
talk
thing
about
came
that.
out. Yeah, please
That
talk about that.
MOU, that MOU started with President Weir's administration under Dwana Kamara. So that
Okay.
South Korean group was in talk with the then administrative management team of the Labrador Water and Sewer Corporation, and when they signed an MOU, for some reason it did not they did not get to implement it. Then President Baka went there again. They signed the MOU. They, in fact, not signing a new. They renewed the MOU, and they brought the MOU. We took it. We communicated with them, the Korean company. They told us that they were coming. We've communicated with them several more times, and they've now responded. But well, we are not depending on them to do the prepaid meters. We are going to acquire the prepaid meters
No,
by ourselves.
but Mr. MD that's going to be a good, and I mean, a good idea. But this was an MOU that you announced formally, and some of your followers and supporters celebrated. Even those who were not your followers celebrated the idea as a good idea, and some of them urged you publicly to please pursue this matter to ensure that at least this one comes to fruition. Now, to hear you saying that you're not solely depending on it, does that sound comfortable or wouldn't sound comfortable with those who celebrated the announcement of this MOU yesterday?
So Austin, it was an MOU to say, okay, the company is saying, okay, we have a prepaid meter. We want to bring our prepaid meter so you can test them. If you are okay with them, then we can supply you. It's a business. They weren't giving it free. Then we can supply you, and then you pay us. You use our prepaid meters.
Okay.
They haven't. We've done several communications. They haven't responded back. But like I said, we have interest from several other groups, several other companies. Now there is a group from Egypt that is also expressing interest. There is a group from China that is expressing interest. The group from China has already sent some of the meters. They are in the process of training our technicians to install the meters and begin to use them. Like I said, we are testing them in Sunny Kode, and they are working there very well. We have 50 customers on test in Sunny Kode. So the companies that have interest, they are up for business. So the one that will express interest and come, we sign an MOU with them, we will work with them. The one that don't come, it's up to them. We have interest in ensuring that people use water and pay for it. They have interest in making business. So there are lots of them. When they come, the day the Korean company come, they come back to say, okay, we are prepared. We'll work with them. But if we already have a company that is supplying and we are dealing with it, then we will not accept them anymore. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that's fair enough. For a country that's struggling, a sector that's part of the different challenges confronting the government. But let's move on to something else. Of recent, this whole conversation about the 36, the 36, the 36, and 36 and 36, and whose vision, whose initiative, and all of that. I read a piece from the former deputy managing director for technical services, which I think he's going to call tonight. He may call tonight on the show. But I read your piece. I read a release, also a paper, also you posted. Now, do you think does this really or should this really matter from the professional standpoint or technical standpoint or political standpoint? Should this really matter? Who started, who finished, or who continuing it, and all of that? How does this become relevant
Austin,
to I mean to revitalizing the sector?
Austin, let's not escape the fact that almost everything we do in Liberia is now politicized, and I'm not going to extract myself from that. We all politicize things here, and so even the previous administration started something, and we are ending it. We want to make it political. So let me give a background of this. Um, the entire project span lifespan started. Negotiations started in 2015 with the Salif administration. Those negotiations were concluded in 2016, and I was fortunate by then. I was heading the WASH unit at the Ministry of Finance to have been part of the team. It was me, Frederick Bobby Crow, who is in the debt management unit. What's his name? The former managing director, Humbu Tule, and his deputy for technical services. The Liberal Urban Water Supply started with a $10 million grant from the World Bank. Now, it was that, okay, we will get additional financing depending on how you implement this. Now, the Water and Sewer Corporation was in the process of recruiting the project implementation unit, the members. I remember even applying for that job. And then the elections came in, election when President Weah won, new management team came in. The team were recruited before they started work, and they continue. So when that phase was completed, the administration under President Weah now went into the negotiation for the additional financing of 30 million. With that 30 million, they constructed an express line from Fish Market to Central Monrovia to convey water. They constructed a 1 million gallon reservoir up Rock Hill. They also constructed a booster station. The remaining money, 12.4 million, was for the construction of the pipe line that we're talking about
Okay.
from White Plains to Johnsonville. That project should have ended in December 2023. So they went through the arrangement, they hire a consultant firm, they hired a contractor. But Austin, there were management issues and there were issues with the contract.
Management issues that you care to talk about?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
The issue with the contract. There were loopholes in the contract, and those loopholes were the contractor exploited them and was always making demands. For example, contractor comes, they go in the field, they study the topography of the area, they put the design before them, they say, we agree. Then in one of the discussions, the contractor raised an issue. They said there's supposed to be 107 bends, airboat, but in the design, they say 37. The contractor
And
was
all of this is
delayed.
on record.
Eh?
And all of this is on record.
It's on record. So when they went for contract negotiation, the minutes are there. They didn't know about them.
Okay.
Then the management team said, oh, y'all go ahead with the work. Whenever there are these issues, we will address them. But these were significant issues. According to the contractor, this will cost you between $1 to $2 million. That was not something you're just supposed to sweep under the carpet. And so the contractor kept delaying. The consultant did not, put the contractor on notice, because part of the contract, the consultant is supposed to oversee the contract. And every time the contractor falls behind schedule, they're supposed to put them on notice. The
Do you know the
consultant,
consultant? Do you know the consultant?
Yeah, there was an Indian consultancy firm that was hired.
Okay.
They were not notifying, because in order to make a claim against the contractor, you got to put them on notice. I say, Austin, you're supposed to do the work for me, and another person will oversee the work.
And
That
who the
person
contractor is?
they call him Constar JV.
Constar JV.
Yeah. So
We hope you can share some of these documents with us for us to continue our discussion after the show anyway.
so they no, I don't have them with me readily.
No, not now, not now, not now.
They are corporation documents. They are there with the PIU. So every time the consultant, the contractor raise issue, they will delay the work. The consultant will not notify them until the entire December 2023 came and passed. No work was done. Absolutely. They didn't put in for the materials. And so 1 whole year was lost. During that 1 year, they were paying the PIU staff. When we took over, same thing. Consultant and contractor, every day they will make flowers. So I decided that, look, you know what? I will cancel the contract I will cancel the contract with the contractor. And the
With the
contractor
contractor
didn't.
or the consultant?
The contractor first,
Okay.
because they were not doing the work. And then the World Bank has threatened that, look, the project time has expired, so we are withdrawing the money, even though it is a loan. But there was an agreement to the loan that you will implement at this time. And the previous management team had asked for a previous 1 year extension, meaning that that project should have ended in 2022. They gave the 1 year extension for the project to be completed in 2023. It wasn't completed again. So the World Bank now say we will withdraw everything. So the first thing we have to do,
Did they succeed? Did they send a letter or a notice or letter of withdrawal that you that you had to renegotiate?
They came, they will normally have a monitoring visit. And when they came, they displayed the A memoir, all of the things that Water and Sewage should have accomplished before that visit. None were accomplished. The contractor did not start the work. The pipes were not put in for. There was no movement on the ground. And they said, we will report to our bosses that nothing is done. And so, hence, they will cancel the contract. So, I said I will cancel the contract of Constar JV. Then Constat JV say no, they brought a whole dossier that every time they will write management, they will write the consultant to say these are issues you are not addressing. And I still say, you know what, I will cancel your contract. Then they took the issue up with the legal advisor to the president. They presented all their documents. And the legal advisor called me and said, I have reviewed the document. You do not have any case to cancel the contractor's contract because the consultant did not put on notice anything. Water and Sewer Administration then did not put on notice failure on the part of the
But
contractor.
sorry, but why the legal advisor to the president and not the Ministry of Justice?
So I don't know how the contractor got there, but in the discussion was a representative from the Ministry of Justice and the legal advisor. So fast forward, they both met. So they both said they reviewed the document and the work ethic. They say everything since the consultant failed to notify the contractor in everything. We don't have issue with the contractor. They cancel. They both terminated the consultant contract. And then we made a final ministry to write the bank, appealing for 1 more year of extension. So we went through that process of back and forth with the World Bank for more than 6 months. And finally, in July last year, no, around August last year, they gave the 1 year extension. When the 1 year extension was given, we renegotiated with the contractor. We had to extend the contract now. One, we are incurring some losses. The original length of the pipeline should have been 11.8 kilometers. But because we went 11.8 kilometers, we went 1 whole year, the PIU staff were taking pay, and now you have to maintain them for another year. You have to go back to GAC to audit in keeping with the contract term. You have to come back to the EPA to do another round of environmental audit, and there are a whole lot of things. So the bank was part of the negotiation, and because of all those losses, the bank agreed that we have to cut the length of the project by 1.8 kilometer to make up for the losses. So we did all of the negotiations, and that agreement was signed by us. Water and Sewer and Constat JV will hire a new consultancy firm, and then we set up the whole project parameters, the timeline, and everything. And so that's what it is, and the project is now ongoing. It's now supposed to be in line with the new extension, supposed to be concluded by December 31st, 2025.
Now, how does this? I mean, do you think this settles this whole conversation about, or at what point do we draw a line that is supposed to settle this whole conversation, which I don't want to call a debate about who did this, who didn't do this, and all that, particularly referencing this contract or this initiative, this project that you're talking about, that you had to renegotiate with the World Bank due to some delays and all of that, which you don't sound like you want to go detail with what.
No, that Austin, that is the detail I've given you. So, and every radio station I've appeared on, I've said it. It started with the Salif administration, the 10 million grant. President Weah administration negotiated the 30 million loan, and is now here. So it's a continuation.
Every administration successively play its part.
A very major role. That's
Major
what I'm
role.
trying to say. So it's not like one administration did this and the other one came and did nothing. No. And that's never been the debate. I just see police will just say, oh, give credit here. Of course, every appearance I've made on every radio station, I've laid out the project just like that.
Now, let's talk about. I know there are too many messages I'm receiving from folks who want to participate on the show, but you don't worry, we'll take your concerns. I'd like us to exhaust this whole water issue, and then we can move to two other issues, and then we can go to the telephone lines for public interaction. The chaos across Central Monrovia. What the conditions look like, the management of them, and how did they come to get to manage those chaos across Central Monrovia, and what the conditions look there as well.
So there are several kiosks across central Monrovia, outside Monrovia, Pinsville, and everywhere. Um, the previous administration signed contracts with communities and individuals to manage the kiosks. So there is a sharing contract there. So what they do normally, they sell the water to the kiosk for far less cost, and those who are managing it is a business, it's a form of employment for them. There are some that are down, we've enumerated them. The technical people know how many across Monrovia and Pinsville. We are beginning to rehabilitate some. So, like in Pinsville, for example, we are in discussion with the Pinsville City Corporation. They say they want to manage all of the chaos that are there. So
Okay.
we signed some agreement. They will begin to manage it. We will supply the water there now. They will outsource it to people in the community as a form of business. There is one now on Benson Street. We signed an agreement with Representative Prince Tool. It's in District 8. We will rehabilitate that and the community will manage it, and we will just read a meter. So normally the water going to the kiosk, it wouldn't be the same cost as the water going into the home. So it will be far lesser so that the person too can have a profit on it.
But now, more political supervision or management of these chaos versus maybe corporate or private management of these chaos. Which one do you think may look more effective and profiteering or profitable to the two sides? That the entity will be able to gain, and that the people will get the access to the water, and that the municipal authorities will also be able to get a share. Don't you think it places a risk that when you allow political infrastructures to preserve or supervise the management of these chaos, the people might just not want to cooperate again with payment, all of that, or the same challenge you're going through at the end of the day.
So Austin, there is not going to be any political management. Normally lawmakers, they are political people, they will come and say, oh, my people don't have water, so we want to do this. But the clear agreement here is once the system is rehabilitated, the contract will not be signed with a lawmaker. It's going to be a private management. The intent is to empower private citizens. So
In-
you're right. We don't want to involve the politics of it into the water thing.
Okay, so now we can move on to we'll talk two other issues, which I know. Did you read the response from the former deputy director for technical services disputing your narrative about this 36-inch project? Is this something that you may want to respond to or speak to? Uh, since you all share similar platforms before,
I don't think there is argument about this, and my explanation should be enough response to it. I think what they are trying to do is to make it to look like we've not credited the president. We are government for the role it played in this thing, and if anything, they the former management team did not live up to what was done. They should have completed the project, and that's an argument for another day. If they want to debate it, that's good. They did not complete the project.
The fact that they had up to 2022 to complete the project, the
They
delay,
had 2022 to
and then
complete
there
the
was an
project.
extension to 2023, and still did not
They
complete
had
the project.
2022 to complete the project. They had 2023 to complete it. So they shouldn't even be making these arguments. You know.
Okay, folks, I see that I think there's an interruption there from our guest. But in case you just joined us, we are having a conversation with the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, the LWSC, and we're talking water and sewage management, water and sewage programs across the country, and other issues. Mo, are you back?
Yeah. I'm back.
Okay. Now, this thing about we'll talk maybe two political issues, and then we go to the telephone lines. This is people. This issue about you actively engage into politics and against the code of conduct. Think, you know, that the office of the ombudsman have been doing too much to have all of you call to check. Why you are some of your executives still occupying party positions, and then you also still serving government? Do you agree firstly that all of those who are occupying party positions and at the same time serving in government, do you agree that it is in violation of the code of conduct?
So, Austin, firstly, let's start with me. I do not hold an executive. Well, let me say, I do not hold a leadership role in the Unity Party at the moment, right? So I am now, as a former Secretary General, I am part of the advisory council of the Unity Party. Being somebody who do not agree with the code of conduct in its entirety. Austin, let's face it. You, Austin Kawah, if you are a member of a political party and that political party wins an election, they say, oh, you can't be a leader in your political party and run and be part of a government. The first thing, there are a few things that we must understand, Austin. Number one, when presidents are elected in this country, I haven't seen an independent candidate winning election. Even if an independent candidate wins election, they win election on platform. When presidents are elected, they are elected on political parties' platform. Let's take it with our recent political history beginning 2005. UPCDC have been elected on political platform, led by leaders who are politicians. Political parties are established for the purpose of gaining or obtaining state power and to run the country.
What is long background mode just to justify potential violation of the law?
And then I was saying, coming. We go to election, a political party win and say, oh, the whole political, you're all resign.
To go work in government.
But the government you're working in is to protect, is to implement the political party platform. Who better understands the political party platform apart from the political leader? And so, Austin, I do not in any way agree with that portion of the code of conduct. I think it should be amended. And I think the intent of that part of the code of conduct is to make people not to use state resources for political purposes. And that's why they said if somebody is violating the code of conduct, maybe Austin sees me violating the code of conduct, carry my complaint to the ombudsman and let the ombudsman investigate. When they find me guilty, then I pay the penalty. That's
but
also
at this point, you don't have to accept a particular portion or the code of conduct in passing. It is already a law, and you as a public official, you are under the moral obligation to accept the code of conduct in its entirety until it is amended to suit your comfort. So don't you think your argument should be maybe you have your lawmakers there should be now submitting the code of conduct for amendment? to remove some of the maybe complexities that you do not find comfortable there. But until that is done, critics believe that you're supposed to abide by what is written in the law until it is amended. Then to be,
And
justifying.
I am in no violation of the code of conduct.
But what some of your colleagues are in violation
The
of the code
colleagues,
of
the
conduct.
colleagues, the colleagues who the ombudsman think are in violation of the code of conduct, they went to court to challenge the ombudsman, and the court put a still order on it. The court said nobody has complained them to you. And then recently we saw the ombudsman issue a release fining people who are executive committee members of the UP $1,000. So I'm sure they will challenge that in court again. That's why the courts are there.
So until it is challenged in court, you don't have any problem with those who are occupying the different positions. You think it's intended to protect the party's legacy and easily communicate or help in implementing the party's agenda. For you, that's what you think.
I don't think the ombudsman has found anybody guilty of violating the code of conduct. Until they can do that, so if somebody go lay complaint and then they go investigate and they find people violating, then they deal with them according to the law.
Okay, this issue about the your president, your standard bearer. It is concerned that some of you government officials, you are extremely arrogant, you're provocative, you're disrespectful to former leaders, and it does not set the pace for sustainable or lasting peace and reconciliation. Uh, what do you say to those who think in that direction? Because there are instances to point to that seem disrespectful to former leaders. For example, the denial of Mr. President of the usage of the VIP lounge. Your deputy minister Daniel Sano will go to use government platform and brand him as an individual with mosquito brain. All of that. What does it say about your government's readiness or preparedness to uh, reconcile the country and stabilize the place politically?
So Austin, I'll make one statement first before I respond to your question. Whether formal or current, whether official or non-official, I believe that we should build a society built on respect. I believe that we should do politics with mutual respect. And that is the reason why I don't find myself into certain debate, into certain quarters, because I do not know how to insult people. I say what I think, void of insulting anybody. Um, the circumstances surrounding VIP usage, how you call it, VIP launch usage at the RIA, I have not taken my time to go through it because I don't really think it concerns me. I don't think it's concerning me. I don't know the law surrounding that. And so if I were to speak to that, I might just be saying things that I do not have idea about. And the issue of the alleged insult that Daniel Sano made, I haven't listened to it in any way. I have not gone on the radio. I mean, I have
No,
not listened to
you are a
the radio.
follower of important events in this country. You can't tell the public that you have not listened to the assertion or the utterances made by Daniel.
I have not listened to Daniel. I'm not denying that he didn't say it, but I have not listened to exactly what he said. I have not listened to it. Um, I want to make a certain confession. I don't really follow press conferences. In the morning, I listen to some talk show, but then when I get into the office, I don't have a radio there. And the reason I don't have a radio there is deliberate. My working time starts from 7:38 to 12 o'clock, because beyond that now is just meeting, meeting, meeting. I cannot take 2, 3 hours of my working time to just listen to the radio. But again, I do not support anybody insulting a former president or former vice president or current president, leaders before, leaders past, leaders to come. I do not support it because I am a person of a traditional background. I believe that in our tradition, we respect our elders. Austin, many people don't know this. I'm one person who have friends across the aisle. Like I have friends across the aisle. My friendship goes beyond politics. My friendship goes beyond political affiliation. My friendship goes beyond who is in what party. When the time comes for the political debate, we'll do our political debate and we'll leave from there. We lecture our friendship talk. So when I'm ready to talk friendship talk, I avoid politics from it. So I believe in mutual respect and I believe in respect for leaders and elders. I do not support the insult of any one leader.
Okay, we'll not bore you with the politics. We'll find time to talk the politics. We call you here to talk, actually to talk water and sewer programs and water and sewer administration. When the time comes, we'll bring you here to talk the real political issues. So let's not bore you with the politics. We'll have time to talk about that. Okay, so I see the lines are busy. So let's take a few calls. We'll just bear with us on the line. Oh, I hope you have a monitor. Or you will get. So please get a monitor to listen and take notes from some of the callers.
I can get the call through here, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll just mute myself while I get my pen and my people to jot down concerns.
Okay, folks, so the opportunity is yours. You can start placing your calls in on 0776 104 104 0886 500 104. Those are the two major numbers to call and be a part of the show tonight. And also, those of you who from the diaspora, the WhatsApp number is +231 886 500 104. Let's talk to the first TV callers from this line. Good evening to you. Go ahead and make your point in 30 seconds.
Thank you. Austin, good evening to you. Good evening to Mo Ali.
Go ahead.
My name is Hussein Keu. I call you from Jacobstown District 2. So a question quickly. Mr. Ali, I follow audit, right, that was done by the LWSC, auditing the former managing director in Donna Camara. And when they went to the court, he admitted before the court that yes, of course, you restitute. Have you restituted that money in the government account? If not, why?
Thank you very much, Hussein. Let's take the second caller from this number, and then we'll go to the other line, take 3, and then go to the WhatsApp and take 3, and then we'll go back to the managing director to respond to the non-concerns tonight. We might give... okay, let's hear this person from here. Hello, good evening. Please go ahead.
And good evening to Muwari.
Yes, you're live. You're live. Go ahead. Mo, are you hearing the callers?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Go ahead, my brother. Call your name, 30 seconds, make your point.
Yeah, Amos Kimokar, joining from the capital of Monrovia. I'd like to give thanks and appreciations to Mo Ali, but what on my mind to disclose to Mo Ali, the main rules that are arising from Monrovia, I beg him let it try to close it up.
The main holes around Central Monrovia, you are referring to the sewer holes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to the third person. Good evening to you. Let's hear you. 30 seconds.
Yeah, my name is Prince Corey. I'm from this. Yeah, let's say thanks to the director of Water and Swamp. Austin, these are things that we're supposed to do in our society. Even if you're sent to another area in left, there should always be a respect for people. More actually, one of the men from United Party, for me, I'm a citizen, but I support all of the idea. Because you know, are insulting people, you all go and discuss the issue. But like Ghana, kind of using state staff to insult all, I don't want to say thanks to Muari, and then continue doing the work. And if I got the idea of what the point for the point, and the power where it was. Some managing director who puts a political assessment there.
Water pipe on the Kawa Road is burst. You should please send his people to do assessment there. Let's hear the next person. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening to you. Hello, take your time because the guest has to hear you. Go ahead.
We are here. I don't know whether the land is connected. We are not seeing any meter on those lands. But other people take the water to use it as a personal use and no meter.
Peace Island, you're not seeing any meters on the land, the water lands in Peace Island. Thank you.
No meter.
Thank you. The MD is taking notes. He will respond to those concerns. Let's hear somebody from this end. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, officer.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is Reese. I'm calling from Central Monrovia. What I really want to say is that in this city, more I really want my heart to live. You know, not everybody supported the government, but you really want my heart. So even have the brains, man, to come home, Freedom FM, and you know, comparing to other government officials, man. You don't even want to see other opposition stations. You really want my heart. But I want to ask you one question. And my question is, you know?
Go ahead, you're live.
Yeah, my question is, looking at the carrying home, what is on the on the sewer line?
Okay, yeah, the demolition on the sewage.
Any compensation for the people?
Compensation. He wants to know whether there's compensation being given to those whose properties are being demolished on the sewage line. Let's take the last 3 callers and then we go back to our guest to respond to the concerns. Good evening to you.
Hello. Yeah, good evening. This is Manda Saki and I call you from Johnsonville.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to be very appreciative to Mr. Ali for his leadership role at the Nago Water Sewage Corporation. But one thing I saw worrisome from Mr. Ali, I don't know whether he has to come on the field before work is being done. But I saw in the last time on the Randall Street, he stepped in the car. And I don't think that is actually called for to see that you have supervisors and other people run the project. And the most important thing I call for is the project that you talk about, the water kills. From the canals again, we that live this to the side, and the water project is actually extending on this side, and how does one get further information, having wanted to be a part of that program to see how you can manage one of the kills.
Okay, the water kills on the canals side. Okay, you will take that note. Let's hear the second to the last caller. Good evening to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Let's hear you.
Yes, thank you for your studio guest, Mo, the MD for that show. Hello, I appreciate him tonight. He's so moderate in discussing the issue. He's not so ruthless like the other people like Dano Sano. Oh, when you get on with this, only thing you can do is...
Dana team. We just mentioned Dana in passing. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's doing well, and he was so clear that indeed government is continuity. He's so clear that indeed the contract was signed. Even those points that came in, he admitted to that, and so I'm on Command Internet. He's one of the number one ever in the history of this country. Since Waka took over to be so sincere enough. So I Command Internet. Then continue that.
Thank you very much. God's help. Go ahead.
Thank you, Austin. Let me say good evening to the MD Mo Ali. Honorable Ali, few weeks ago, you people were in Mapulu County dedicating a water project there. I purposely to ask you what is the current status of that project, because we are hearing that water is not being supplied, despite the fact you personally claimed that there was a 750 feet borehole that was dug to supply water to the surrounding communities.
You don't?
The status of that project, please.
Okay, status of the project, the Babolu project. I was squeezing just one more, and then we go to our guest. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good evening to you. Let's hear you. You have to move away from your monitor.
Yeah, so I'm Kevin Pajibo, a water expert too. I'm graduate from the Ghana Water and Sanitation School, and I want to commend Mo Ali for the level of work being done in the subsequent time. However, I want to share this with him. Working at a community level will help a lot, but equally so, we need to also understand something. community monitor who monitors the day-to-day activity for water and sewer in the community. Now, community have blocks, and those blocks need water monitor. Like you were just saying, people will come overnight and pick the pipe, connect themselves, and then receiving free water, right? That's not going to work except you have a monitor at the community level. Take for example, I live in 72nd. We got a lot of blocks in 72nd, and if I'm at block A as a monitor, I will make sure that any connection that's being made, the very first thing I will do is I check all the supervisor who is coming, get his ID number, know that he sent them an email that he come to work in my community and work with him. That's one. Number two, if anybody is doing any work overnight because it's my community, I will see how best to see how I can monitor it and know that as to whether that person is being engaged or whether it's not working the night. That's the first thing. The second thing is that person to be apprehended by the Liberia National Police to make sure that they be investigated while they are doing that work at night. So thank you very much, my brother.
Okay, thank you. Your input was Hardy. Let's say okay. I will squeeze in Man Sisi. Man Sisi, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much for taking my call. Let me say how to your studio guest Mo Ali, your best friend. I want to ask Mo Ali a question. You understand? Now you're talking about water pipe running from here and there. What's happening on Waterside now? The city is all over the place. What's going on there? Mo Ali, that one question. Two, you're talking about the project that they need completed. But we are letting for 2 years, and he made all the arrangements, but they never see to fruition. Then you come to tell us on the platform that they never anything, and you went and made a negotiation for it to happen. In 1 year time, are you telling us on the platform? And to the water issue in Kawah, is that is the Mo Ali. Yes, three. The water issue in Kawah, my son, and that is we can go to bed 2 o'clock, we get up to the pump. The running water was so every night now up. Then he's talking about fast away on the show. He went and then the 4th more. He said protest was put in the fortress. They were forcing leaders in the fortress. Why not for a big protest? So I focus to him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What? Loaded 4 questions. So, Mr. MD, those were the concerns. Actually, the phones are still ringing, but we do not have the luxury of time to take all of your concerns, all of your calls. So, Mo, it's your time to respond to the concerns.
Yeah, so let me start with Man City. Man City, I know what making you vex like that, but sorry. And so I think you listened to me very clearly. I did not say President we are never completed anything. I'm talking about the project. And I also did not say President Weah. I said the management team should have first completed the project in 2022. They didn't. They should have completed in 2023, and they didn't. And definitely, our money spent, so we had to renegotiate the contract terms. We had to renegotiate with the World Bank. And you're talking about Waterside. Masisi, I have explained over and over, one of the major problems with Waterside, we clean Waterside, we cover it, people go, they steal the cover, and then when they steal the cover, they hold the manhole, they use it for dumping side. When you use it for dumping side, the lines will get clogged, and there will be issues there because the people water will not be able to flow, it will come on the street. So we also have to get together to see that does not happen. So let me start here with Kiawu. Kiawu talked about an audit that was done, and former MD Dwana Kamara was asked to restitute. So Kiawu, the LWSC does not enforce this kind of thing. I did not follow. My understanding was that he restituted some of the money, and it is supposed to be the Justice Ministry, I think, or the court that's supposed to enforce it. So we do not have jurisdiction over that, and we cannot do anything to him. Kemokai talked about the manhole in Central Morovia. We are going to cover those manhole again, but we are not covering them now until we started cleaning everywhere. Once we complete the cleaning, then we'll cover them and hope that we can have a deal with the scrap dealers so that they can, when anybody steals the manhole cover, they carry to them. they will not be able to buy them. The person who talked about the water pipes busting on Kawa Road will be able to send our team there tomorrow. We have a station
And that
at
is a
Kawa.
regular thing. That is a regular thing, Mo. That particular car area around right after your water station.
Yeah,
A regular tap pipe always busting. I don't know what's the problem.
yeah. This time around, we'll try to bury it in the thing. So Peace Island, they say no meters. True, there are many places with no meters. Most of these people, they we talk about the illegal connections. They do the illegal connections, and part of our project now is to ensure we sensitize people to come and register so that you can be illegally connected. We do not want to be disconnecting people here and there, but if they don't register, then we'll have to disconnect them. Greece, Greece talked about accommodation for me appearing on Freedom FM. Well, Greece, you see, in this country, maybe we can carry the politics too extreme. I don't believe there should be any radio station for anyone not to appear, or maybe the way we divide the politics, we make it so people get afraid. But for me, I'm used to anything, so I can appear anywhere we discuss. We can disagree with each other as long as we do it respectfully. You don't have to agree with my view, and I don't have to agree with your view. And I want to say thank you for commending me. Um, Saki from Johnsonville uh, talked about why do I have to go on the field all the time? Well, Saki, the work we do is both in the office and in the field. But at times too, as a manager, you should be in the field to motivate your people to work. It's not all the time you go and sit down in the office. How do you know what's going on over there? When I go in the field, it gives me first-hand information. I monitor and observe for myself what they are doing. But it also helps you to know the kind of work the people do. You appreciate what they do, and that's why when they say you don't pay or it creates problem. So we like to go there to see the kind of work they do. We get involved with it and also motivate them. And lastly, the question on no, the person who talks about the chaos. We have a team that is responsible for that, the sales and marketing team. I will find out from them if they have water chaos in the Barnes Bay area and what are they doing about the management of that. We know New Georgia, we've rehabilitated their water kiosk, and we are in the process of going into, signing contract with private operators. So we'll check Barnesville. Bapuru Water Project, it is functioning. We ration the water supply in the first month. We pump out more than 70,000 gallons. But again, the people felt that the water system we built there was free, and we ask them to pay. Nobody wants to pay. Chief, you cannot just operate the water system with no money. We use chlorine over there. We use other things. There are people there monitoring the system and operating the system. How do we pay them if nobody agrees to pay? So that water system is there, is good. And we now told the people if you can pay, then it's difficult to operate. So they have to pay for the water. That is the main issue. So nothing is wrong with it. Yeah. Now let's also understand when you build a system, there is a warranty period. They call defect and liability period. We can observe that system, and when there are issues that happen, like recently a lightning strike and strike one of the batteries. So the contractor had to go back to change it because it was their fault that they did not put a lightning rod to where the batteries are. They now install lightning rod. And so that's it. But the water system is good.
And I'd like you to close by making reference or making a comment about the Claratan belt. Masisi made
Oh
mention
yeah,
of
Man
it
City talked
regarding.
about the Claratan belt. So I wouldn't know everything there. I will have to consult with my technical team. I know that water runs through Claratown, but like somebody said, they talk about community monitors and also, having a block kind of system. Claratown, water supply there is through the kiosks and through bulk meters. And as far as I know, they are one of the places, Taratan, Vartown, that have water supply. The only place that are not getting frequent water supply is West Point. But if there are any issue, Massisi, we will check there, and I really hope to meet you one day so we can talk face to face so you can be again. Well,
Okay.
Austin,
I think
so let me say thank you. I do appreciate always interacting with you. I think Martisi said your best friend. Martisi, yeah, Austin is my friend, and we've been friends for a very long time, and we have mutual respect for each other, and I appreciate that. So I appreciate you also inviting me on the show, and I hope we can have frequent interactions.
You're always welcome, Mr. Managing Director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, as Masise, my best friend. But thanks for always waiting to talk to us, whether it's on personal issue, private, administrative issues, or governmental issue or politics. We'll always be knocking on your doors to respond or speak to some of the critical issues that may not necessarily be water or sewage related.
Thank you, Austin.
Okay, so that's how we go home on tonight's edition of the show. Tomorrow we shall be back here with, trust me, another exciting edition of the show. And we will have a guest on the show tomorrow. Whether that guest will come from the ANC, or from the Liberty Party, or from the CMC, or from the which other one? CDC. We'll have a guest on the show tomorrow. We have to afford everybody from our sides the opportunity to have a say, and we engage in our disagreements in a civil manner. Until we see tomorrow, thanks to all of you who follow us through different means, including all of you who call in. Sorry to those of you who really, really wanted to participate, but you did not have the opportunity because we were pressed with time. Until we see tomorrow, have yourselves pleasant moments in your respective areas. My name is Austin Kawah. Bye-bye.
Where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray.